Every day is a new chance to prove to yourself that you are capable of achieving great things. Get up and make it your best. If you're ready to stop just going through the motions and start really working towards the life you want, then you're in the right place. In this video, we're going to dive into the real power behind working your best every day. We'll talk about why consistency matters more than anything, how taking action can change the course of your life, and how you can make this mindset shift that will keep you moving forward no matter what. I promise you, when you start working your best, you'll see changes that go far beyond just the tasks in front of you. You'll start feeling more confident, more capable, and more in control of your future. So stick around. By the end of this video, I hope you'll feel inspired, ready, and motivated to get up and work your best, because that's the key to unlocking the life you deserve. Let's get started. Number 1, the power of taking action every day. I want to talk to you about something that is so simple, yet so powerful. And if you really get it, it has the potential to change everything for you. It's about the power of taking action every single day. We all have big dreams and goals, but the truth is, most people fall short of achieving those dreams, not because they don't have the potential or the desire, but because they don't consistently take action every single day, without fail. You see, dreams don't work unless you do. And taking action, taking the right action day after day, is what separates the people who succeed from those who don't. We live in a world that loves the idea of success, but too many people get stuck in the planning, the dreaming, or the wishing. They talk about what they want to achieve, but they never really start. They get caught up in the what ifs and the maybe laters, and because of that, they end up going nowhere. But here's the thing, you can't wait for the perfect moment. You can't wait for everything to align. Success comes from doing the work, from putting in the effort, from taking action, even when it doesn't feel perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out before you take the first step. You don't need to wait until you have all the answers, until the stars align, or until you feel ready, because that perfect moment, it's never gonna come. And if you keep waiting for it, you'll keep putting your dreams on hold. But if you take action today, no matter how small, that's when you start making progress. That's when things start to move. Think about it for a second. What happens when you take that first step? The first step might be scary. It might be uncomfortable, and it might not even feel like it's going to make a big difference, but it does. Every single step, no matter how small, brings you closer to where you want to be. And the more steps you take, the more momentum you build. Before you know it, you're not just talking about your dreams, you're living them. You're not just wishing for success, you're making it happen. And that's because you took action. The thing is, the power of taking action isn't just about getting things done. It's about building the kind of mindset that makes success inevitable. When you take action, you prove to yourself that you're capable. You start to see that you don't need all the perfect conditions. You don't need to know everything, and you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. You just need to take that first step, then the next one, and then keep going. The more you act, the more confidence you build. You start to see that you have the ability to make things happen. I know it's easy to get stuck in your head, to get paralyzed by overthinking, by trying to figure out every possible outcome before you take that first step. But you'll never know what's going to happen if you don't take the action. Success doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. You've got to be willing to try, to experiment, and to learn as you go. The truth is, you'll never have all the answers before you start. But the more you act, the more you'll learn. And the more you learn, the better you get. Every step you take, every decision you make, brings you one step closer to the person you need to become to reach your goals. This is about consistency. It's not about taking massive action once in a while. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when things aren't going your way. Every day that you take action is one day closer to your goal. But if you let those days slip by without doing the work, that's time you can't get back. And those missed days add up. When you're consistent with your action, when you show up every single day, you begin to build something incredible. Look, I know the journey to success isn't always easy. There will be days when you don't feel motivated. There will be times when you feel like quitting. But the secret to making it is simple. You've got to take action no matter what. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be something that moves you forward, even if it's just a little bit. And here's another thing. Action doesn't always mean working harder or pushing yourself to the limit every single day. It's about taking the next step, even if it's a small one. It's about putting in the effort, even when you don't feel like it. It's about moving forward, even when it's hard. And every time you take action, you build your momentum. Momentum is a powerful force. When you keep moving, when you keep taking action, you build energy. And that energy carries you forward, making it easier to keep going. It gets easier to stay on track. It gets easier to see results. It gets easier to see that your dreams are closer than you think. I want you to think about the things you've already accomplished in your life. Think about how you got there. Did it happen because you waited for the perfect opportunity? No, you made it happen because you took action. You did the work, and that's how you're going to get where you want to go this time. By showing up, by taking action, by doing the work, day after day. The path to success isn't glamorous, it's not easy, but it's real. And it starts with you deciding to take that first step. So don't wait, don't put it off. The power of taking action is in the doing. Every small step adds up. Every bit of work you put in moves you closer to the person you want to become and the life you want to create. You have the power to take control of your future, one action at a time. If you want to change your life, if you want to make your dreams a reality, the power is in your hands. The first step, the most important step, is to take action. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for next week. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The time is now. Take action today and keep taking action every single day. That's the key to success. And that's how you make your dreams come true. Number 2, the morning sets the tone for the whole day. How you start your day matters. The first few moments, the first decisions you make, they set the tone for everything that follows. Some people wake up and immediately hit the snooze button. They roll over, close their eyes, and tell themselves, just a few more minutes. But that decision, that tiny moment of hesitation, it does more than just steal a few extra minutes of sleep. It sets the tone for the entire day. You see, when you start your day with laziness, when you start your day with hesitation, it becomes easier to carry that same energy into everything else you do. You move slower, you take longer to get started, and before you know it, half the day is gone and you haven't accomplished anything. And then what happens? Guilt starts to creep in. You start thinking about all the things you should have done, and instead of feeling energized, you feel behind. And when you feel behind, you're more likely to say, I'll just start fresh tomorrow. And that's how people lose days, weeks, months, sometimes even years of their life, waiting for the perfect moment to get serious. But let me tell you something. The best time to take control of your life is right now. The best way to start winning is to start today. And that starts the moment you wake up. You've got to take charge of your morning, because when you control your morning, you control your day. And when you control your day, you control your life. It's that simple. Every successful person I've ever met understands this. They don't wake up and just let the day happen to them. They take control. They start with intention. They don't let distractions, excuses, or bad habits dictate their time. They wake up with a purpose, and they get to work. Now, I know what some people are thinking. Jim, I'm not a morning person. And you know what I say to that? So what? Who said success is only for morning people? Who said discipline only applies to people who wake up at 5 a.m.? It doesn't matter what time you wake up. It matters what you do when you wake up. It's about getting up with purpose. It's about making the decision that today is going to be productive. Today is going to be meaningful. Today is a day that moves you forward. Some people start their day by grabbing their phone, scrolling through social media, checking emails, reading the news, filling their mind with negativity and distractions before they even get out of bed. And then they wonder why they feel tired, why they feel unmotivated, why they don't have the energy to get things done. It's because they're starting their day in reaction mode. Instead of waking up and deciding what they're going to do, they let the world decide for them. They let notifications, messages, and other people's opinions dictate how they feel. That's no way to live. You've got to take control. The moment you wake up, before anything else, take a moment to decide, what do I want to accomplish today? What kind of energy do I want to bring into this day? How am I going to make today better than yesterday? That decision alone will change the way you move. Because when you start with intention, when you start with purpose, you're already ahead of most people. And then you've got to take action. Don't just sit there thinking about it. Get moving. Get up. Make your bed. Stretch. Drink water. Exercise. Read something that feeds your mind. Write down your goals. Do something that puts you in control of your day. Because here's the truth. Your body and mind are connected. If you wake up and move, if you wake up and do something productive, your brain takes that as a signal. We're awake, we're focused, we're ready to work. But if you wake up and hit snooze, if you wake up and sit around wasting time, your brain takes that as a different signal. We're sluggish, we're tired, we're unmotivated. And guess what? However you start is how you continue. Think about the last time you had a productive morning. Maybe you woke up early, got a workout in, ate a good meal, checked off a few tasks before noon. How did you feel? Energized, focused, ready to take on the rest of the day. Now think about a time when you did the opposite. Maybe you stayed in bed too long, scrolled on your phone, ate something unhealthy, put off your responsibilities. How did you feel? Sluggish, unmotivated, frustrated with yourself. The difference wasn't the day itself. The difference was how you started it. This is why you have to take your mornings seriously. And I'm not saying you have to follow a strict routine or wake up at the crack of dawn, but you do have to make a decision. Are you going to take control of your time, or are you going to let time control you? Are you going to set the tone for your day, or are you going to let the day dictate how you feel? The choice is yours. But let me tell you, people who win in life, people who achieve their goals, they don't leave it to chance. They don't wake up and hope they feel motivated. They wake up and take action, whether they feel like it or not, because they know that success isn't built on how you feel. It's built on what you do. And here's the best part. Once you start taking control of your mornings, once you build that habit, everything else becomes easier. You don't have to force yourself to be productive anymore. It becomes natural. You don't have to struggle to find motivation. It's already there, because you've trained yourself to operate at a higher level. You've trained yourself to win. Number 3, your work reflects your standards. You can tell a lot about a person just by looking at how they work. The way you approach your work says everything about you, your mindset, your discipline, your level of commitment. If you want to know who a person truly is, don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. Because your work, the effort you put in, the attention to detail, the care you take, it all reflects your standards. You see, some people think work is just about getting by, doing the bare minimum, collecting a paycheck, and going home. They think as long as they're not getting fired, they're doing enough. But that kind of thinking is exactly why they never get ahead. That kind of thinking keeps people stuck, frustrated, wondering why their life never changes. The truth is, if you do the bare minimum, you get the bare minimum in return. You have to raise your standards, not for your boss, not for your company, not for anyone else, for yourself. Because how you work is a reflection of who you are. If you show up late, if you do sloppy work, if you cut corners, you're not just cheating your employer or your customers, you're cheating yourself. You're telling yourself, this is all I'm capable of. This is all I expect from myself. And let me tell you, that mindset leads nowhere. I've met people who say, Jim, I'll start working harder when I get a better job. I'll take it seriously when I get paid more. And you know what I tell them? That's backwards thinking. You don't get a better job first, and then start working harder. You start working harder, and that's how you earn a better job. You don't get paid more and then put in more effort. You put in more effort first, and that's how you get paid more. Success isn't something that just shows up one day. It's something you attract by becoming the kind of person who deserves it. If you take pride in your work, if you treat every job, no matter how small, as an opportunity to be excellent, people notice, opportunities come, doors open, because excellence is rare. Most people don't have high standards. Most people do just enough to get by. But the few who hold themselves to a higher level, the few who treat their work as a reflection of their character, those are the people who rise. And listen, I don't care what you do. You could be sweeping floors, working in an office, running a business. It doesn't matter. What matters is how you do it. Because if you can take pride in the small things, you'll be trusted with bigger things. If you can be excellent in the little details, you'll be given more responsibility. And that's how you move up in life. People think success is some big secret. It's not. It's just a matter of consistently doing more than what's expected. It's about holding yourself to a higher standard than anyone else would. It's about saying, I don't care if no one's watching. I don't care if no one thanks me. I don't care if I don't see results right away. I do great work because that's who I am. But most people don't think like that. Most people do the opposite. They say, why should I put in extra effort if I'm not getting recognized? And that's exactly why they stay where they are. Because the people who get recognized, the people who get rewarded, are the ones who put in the effort even when no one is looking. I remember a young man telling me once, Jim, I feel stuck. I feel like no one notices my hard work. I asked him, are you really giving it everything you've got? Are you pushing yourself every single day to be better than you were yesterday? And he hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. Because deep down, he knew he wasn't. He was working hard, sure, but not at his highest standard. He was doing what was required, but he wasn't going beyond that. And that's the difference. Anyone can do what's required. That's easy. That's what average people do. But if you want to separate yourself, if you want to be different, if you want to create a life that's extraordinary, you have to demand more from yourself than anyone else would. You have to set your own bar higher than the world sets it for you. And here's the truth. When you start operating at that level, when you make excellence your standard, everything changes. People take notice. Opportunities come. But more importantly, you change. You start to see yourself differently. You start to realize, I'm capable of more than I thought. I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm more disciplined than I ever gave myself credit for. And that confidence, that self-respect, that belief in yourself, that's what leads to success. But it starts with how you work. It starts with the effort you put in every single day. It starts with making the decision that no matter what the job is, no matter what the task is, you're going to do it with excellence. Not because someone is watching, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because that's who you are. So if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been wondering why your life isn't changing, take a look at your work. Ask yourself, am I really giving it my best? Am I really holding myself to the highest standard? Am I pushing myself to be better every single day? Because if the answer is no, then that's where you start. Raise your standards. Demand more from yourself. Treat your work as a reflection of your character, and watch how your life changes. Because success doesn't come to those who do the bare minimum. It comes to those who commit to excellence. It comes to those who take pride in everything they do. It comes to those who refuse to settle for anything less than their best. And if that's you, if you're willing to step up, if you're willing to raise your standards starting today, then let me tell you, your future is about to look very, very different. Number 4. Push yourself beyond your comfort zone. Comfort is one of the most dangerous traps you can fall into. It feels good. It's familiar. It's safe. But that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because while you're comfortable, while you're playing it safe, time is passing. And before you know it, years have gone by. And you're in the exact same place. No growth, no progress, no change, just existing. And let me tell you, that's no way to live. If you want more out of life, if you want to achieve something meaningful, if you want to become the person you were meant to be, you have to be willing to push yourself beyond what feels comfortable. You have to be willing to do the things that make you nervous, that challenge you, that stretch you, because growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you step outside of it. I see it all the time. People say they want more, they want success, they want to change their life. But the moment things get difficult, the moment they feel discomfort, they back off. They make excuses. They tell themselves, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not ready. And that's where they lose. Because the truth is, you're never going to feel completely ready. You're never going to feel completely comfortable. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, if you're waiting until you feel 100% confident, you'll be waiting forever. You have to move before you feel ready. You have to act before you feel confident. Because confidence doesn't come first. Action comes first. And when you take action, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's scary, that's when confidence grows. That's when you start to realize, I can handle this. I can do more than I thought. I'm stronger than I believed. I remember talking to a young man once. He had big dreams. He wanted to start a business. He wanted to create something great, but he was stuck. He kept saying, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I have what it takes. And I told him, the only way you'll ever know is if you do it. The only way to find out what you're capable of is by pushing yourself past what feels safe. And that's the truth. You don't grow by staying where you are. You don't become stronger by avoiding difficulty. You grow by stepping into the challenge. You grow by proving to yourself that you can handle it. And the more you do that, the more unstoppable you become. Think about a time in your life when you did something difficult, something that scared you. Maybe it was speaking in front of a crowd. Maybe it was taking on a new challenge at work. Maybe it was making a decision that felt risky. How did you feel afterward? I bet you felt stronger. I bet you felt proud. I bet you looked back and thought, that wasn't as bad as I thought. That's the power of pushing yourself. That's the power of stepping beyond your comfort zone. And the best part, It's like a muscle. The more you do it, the easier it gets. The first time you step out of your comfort zone, it feels scary. But the second time, it's a little easier. And the third time, even easier. And before you know it, you're not just stepping outside your comfort zone, you're living outside of it. And that's when life starts to change. That's when new opportunities start to show up. That's when you start to become the person you were meant to be. But most people never get there. Most people stay stuck in what's familiar. They do the same things, think the same thoughts, live the same life, year after year, because they're afraid of what's on the other side of discomfort. They don't realize that everything they want is beyond that fear. So let me ask you, are you willing to be uncomfortable? Are you willing to push yourself beyond what feels safe? Because if you are, if you make that decision, everything changes. You stop waiting. You stop doubting yourself. You start moving. And once you start moving, you realize, I was capable of this all along. That's the shift. That's the mindset that separates people who succeed from people who stay stuck. It's not about being the smartest. It's not about having the perfect plan. It's about having the courage to take action, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about saying, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm willing to find out. And once you make that decision, you'll never look back, because you'll start to see yourself differently. You'll start to believe in your own strength. And that belief, that confidence, that's what changes everything. That's what turns dreams into reality. Number 5, excuses won't take you anywhere you know. I've met a lot of people who have big dreams, people who talk about what they want to achieve, what kind of life they want to live, all the success they want to have. But then when you ask them what they're actually doing about it, they start listing their excuses. They talk about how they don't have enough time, how they don't have the right resources, how it's just not the right moment. And that's the problem. Excuses don't take you anywhere. Excuses don't get you results. Excuses don't build success. You can have all the potential in the world, but if you keep finding reasons why you can't do something, instead of figuring out how you can, you'll never move forward. The truth is, life is always going to give you reasons to stop. It's always going to give you challenges, obstacles, setbacks. You're always going to have something you could use as an excuse. But the people who succeed, the people who change their lives, they don't let those excuses stop them. They don't wait for the perfect conditions, because they know the perfect conditions don't exist. Think about it. If success was easy, if everything lined up perfectly for everyone, wouldn't everybody be successful? Wouldn't everybody be living their dream life? But they're not, because most people aren't willing to push through the difficulties. Most people aren't willing to keep going when things get tough. I've seen people who say they want more money, but they won't learn a new skill. They won't put in extra hours. They won't look for new opportunities. I've seen people say they want to get in shape, but they keep making excuses about being too tired, too busy, too stressed. And I tell them all the same thing. Your results are a direct reflection of your choices. If you keep choosing excuses, you'll keep getting the same results. Now I get it. Sometimes things really are hard. Sometimes life does throw things at you that you didn't expect. But even then, you have a choice. You can either let your circumstances control you, or you can take control of your circumstances. You can either say, this is why I can't, or you can say, this is how I will. And that decision right there makes all the difference. Let me tell you something. Some of the most successful people in the world started with nothing. Some of them had every reason to quit, every reason to make excuses. But they didn't. They figured it out. They found a way. Because that's what winners do. And let's be honest, most excuses aren't real limitations. Most of the time when we make excuses, it's not because we actually can't do something. It's because we don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to wake up earlier. We don't want to put in the extra effort. We don't want to do things that challenge us. So we convince ourselves that we can't when really we just won't. But here's the truth. Success isn't supposed to be comfortable. Growth isn't supposed to be easy. If you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. That means giving up the excuses. That means taking responsibility. That means looking at your situation and saying, no matter what's in my way, I'm going to figure it out. Because when you stop making excuses, you start finding solutions. When you stop blaming your circumstances, you start taking action. And the moment you take action, everything changes. I remember a guy I met years ago. He told me he wanted to start a business, but he didn't have enough money. I asked him, what have you done to try and get the money? He shrugged and said, well, nothing yet. That's the problem. He already convinced himself that he couldn't do it, so he never even tried. And that's what a lot of people do. They decide ahead of time that something isn't possible, so they never take the first step. But the people who make it happen, they don't sit around waiting for the perfect moment. They don't wait until they have everything figured out. They start with what they have, where they are, and they build from there. So I want you to ask yourself, what excuses have you been making? What have you been telling yourself that's holding you back? Because once you recognize it, you can change it. And don't tell me it's too late. Don't tell me you're too old, too young, too busy, too tired. Those are just more excuses. The time is going to pass anyway, whether you take action or not. The question is, where do you want to be a year from now? Do you want to be in the exact same place, still making the same excuses? Or do you want to look back and say, I did it, I made it happen. I pushed through, and I changed my life. It all starts with a decision to stop making excuses, a decision to stop waiting, a decision to start doing. Because when you make that decision, when you commit to it fully, nothing can stop you. And that's when you realize that the only thing that was ever holding you back was you. Number 6, hard work builds confidence and self-respect. Hard work is more than just a way to get ahead. It's more than just a tool for success. Hard work is what builds you. It's what shapes your confidence. It's what gives you a sense of pride in who you are and what you do. Because here's the truth. When you work hard, when you push yourself to give your best effort every single day, something changes inside you. You stop questioning whether or not you're good enough. You stop feeling like you don't deserve success. You stop doubting yourself because you know deep down that you've earned every bit of progress you've made. And that's powerful. Because when you earn something, when you fight for it, when you sacrifice for it, you don't just get results. You get a new version of yourself, a stronger version, a more capable version, a version of yourself that can walk into any situation, into any challenge, and say, I can handle this. I can figure this out. I've met so many people who struggle with confidence, people who second-guess themselves, people who don't believe they're good enough. And do you know what the real problem is? It's not that they're not good enough. It's that they haven't put in enough work to prove to themselves that they are. Because confidence doesn't come from just thinking positive thoughts. Confidence comes from evidence. It comes from knowing beyond any doubt that you've done the work, that you've built the skill, that you've put in the time. Think about the last time you really put your all into something. Maybe it was a job, maybe it was a project, maybe it was a personal goal. Remember how you felt when you finished it? That feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of, I did that, I made that happen. That's what builds confidence. That's what builds self-respect. And the opposite is just as true. If you cut corners, if you take shortcuts, if you try to cheat your way to success, you'll always know. You might fool other people, but you'll never fool yourself. And deep down, that lack of effort, that lack of commitment, it eats away at you. It makes you feel like you're not worthy of success, like you don't deserve the reward. And that's when people start to self-sabotage. That's when they start to doubt themselves. That's when they lose before they've even started. But when you put in the work, when you show up every single day and give it everything you've got, you don't have to fake confidence. You don't have to convince yourself that you belong. You just know, because you've earned it. And that's the thing about hard work. It doesn't just give you external rewards. It gives you internal strength. It changes the way you see yourself. It makes you proud of who you are. I see people all the time chasing after quick success. They want to skip the process. They want the results without the effort. But what they don't realize is that the process is what makes you. The late nights, the early mornings, the extra hours, the sacrifices, that's what builds character. That's what builds discipline. That's what turns you into the kind of person who can handle success when it comes. Because let me tell you, success is not just about getting there. It's about being able to stay there. And if you haven't done the work, if you haven't built the habits, if you haven't developed the discipline, you won't be able to handle it. You might reach the top, but you won't stay there. Hard work teaches you things that nothing else can. It teaches you patience. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you how to push through when things get tough. And most importantly, it teaches you that you can count on yourself, that no matter what happens, you have what it takes to figure it out. I want you to really think about that, because in life, you're going to face challenges. You're going to have moments where you feel like quitting. You're going to have days where nothing seems to be going right. But if you've built yourself through hard work, if you've developed that mindset, you won't give up, because you'll know that you can get through it. And that's what separates the people who succeed from the people who don't. It's not talent, it's not luck. It's the willingness to show up and put in the work, day after day, even when it's hard. So if you want confidence, if you want self-respect, if you want to feel proud of who you are and what you've accomplished, stop looking for shortcuts. Stop waiting for things to get easier. Start putting in the work. Start proving to yourself what you're capable of. Because the moment you do that, the moment you commit fully, everything changes. You stop looking for validation from others. You stop doubting yourself. You start walking through life with your head held high, knowing that no matter what happens, you have the strength to handle it. Number 7, work like your future depends on it, because it does. You ever had those moments when you wake up, look in the mirror, and realize how much time has passed without making the progress you hoped for? You've got these big dreams, but somehow, day after day, they seem so far away. It's frustrating, right? But here's the truth. If you're not working like your future depends on it, you're missing the point. Your future isn't just a distant thing. It's being created right now by what you choose to do today. It's in the decisions you make, the habits you form, and the effort you put in. You don't get a pass when it comes to putting in the work. It's required. And trust me, the time you spend today will decide what your future looks like. Think about it. Every day you wake up, you've got 2 choices. You can either let the day drift by, going through the motions, or you can make it count. And I'm telling you, the more you work like your future depends on it, the more it will. The little things you do now, the effort you put in, that's what shapes where you're headed. You might not see the results right away, but trust me, they're coming. Your future self will look back and thank you for the work you're putting in today, even if it feels tough or uncertain in the moment. When I say work like your future depends on it, I'm not just talking about clocking in hours or crossing things off your to-do list. I mean, you've got to pour your energy into what really matters. You've got to dig deep and put your heart into what you're doing. Because what you do today isn't just for now. It's building the foundation for the life you want down the road. If you really want that promotion, if you really want that business to take off, if you really want to get fit, if you really want to live a life that you're proud of, you've got to show up every day and put in the work. You can't afford to take days off. Every effort counts, every hour counts, every decision counts. Let me give you an example. Think about your goals. Maybe it's starting that business you've been dreaming about, or maybe it's just becoming better at your craft. Whatever it is, the only way to get there is to make the work you do today feel like it's crucial to your success tomorrow. Do you want your future to be filled with regret, or do you want to look back and be proud of the life you've built? The choice is yours, but it all comes down to the actions you take now. It's easy to look around and see other people succeeding, and sometimes you might feel like you're falling behind. But here's the thing, you don't need to compare your journey to anyone else's. You don't know the work they've put in, the sacrifices they've made, or the struggles they've faced. You only need to focus on what you're doing. You need to put your energy into your own progress. And most importantly, you need to work as though your future depends on it. Because it does. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. You don't get to say, oh, I'll catch up on this later. Later might never come. Or when it does, it might be too late. That's why it's so important to make today count. And here's the thing about working like your future depends on it. It's not about working harder than everyone else, or burning yourself out. It's about being intentional with your time and effort. It's about knowing that the choices you make today, no matter how small, are shaping who you'll become tomorrow. If you're stuck in the cycle of I'll get to it later, that's a dangerous place to be. I'm not saying you need to work 24/7s, but I am saying you need to make sure that when you do work, you're focused and giving it your all. Even the smallest steps, when taken with purpose, add up. If you want to achieve big things, it's about making the most of your time, every single day. Not waiting for the perfect opportunity, not waiting until everything is aligned, just doing the work. No matter how messy or imperfect it may be, your future will thank you for it. You might feel like you're not making progress sometimes, but keep pushing. Every step forward, no matter how small, gets you closer to your goal. Working like your future depends on it isn't just about the hustle. It's about being patient, staying consistent, and understanding that every bit of effort now is an investment in the life you want to live. And when you work with that mindset, with the understanding that your future is on the line, you won't let distractions pull you away. You'll stay focused, you'll stay driven, and most importantly, you'll stay committed. Now you might be wondering, how do I stay motivated when it feels like nothing is happening? Here's the thing. Your future will be shaped by the choices you make in the moments when you feel like giving up. It's easy to push when everything is going smoothly, but true growth happens when you push through the hard days. When you push through the days that don't feel like they're moving you forward. That's the time that matters. That's when you prove to yourself that you're in it for the long haul. Number 8, stay consistent. Success comes over time. Success isn't something that happens in an instant. It doesn't come from one big decision or one massive effort. Success is a slow burn. It's built over time. And the key to getting there is consistency. People often look at successful people and think, they're lucky, they must have had it easy. But here's the truth. Luck doesn't exist. What you're seeing is the result of consistency. It's those small actions, taken over and over again, that lead to big changes. Now, I know consistency can sometimes feel a bit like a grind. You wake up every day, put in the work, and it feels like you're not getting anywhere. You might feel like, what's the point of all this? Is it really making a difference? But let me tell you, the difference it's making is bigger than you can see right now. The results don't always show up immediately, but every small step you take, every time you show up, you're building the foundation for something big. Here's the thing about consistency. It doesn't require perfection. You don't need to be the best, the fastest, or the smartest. You just need to keep showing up. That's where most people fall short. They start with excitement. They push hard for a few days, and then they give up when they don't see immediate results. But the truth is, you're not going to see immediate results. If you're waiting for instant gratification, you're in the wrong game. Success comes from the long haul, from doing the right thing day after day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when it seems like nothing is happening. I want you to think about it like building a house. You don't just put up the walls and expect the house to be ready the next day. You start with the foundation, brick by brick, step by step. Each small action you take is like laying another brick. It might seem like it's taking forever, but over time those little actions start to add up, and before you know it, you've built something solid. The same goes for your goals. Every small, consistent action you take is like laying another brick in the foundation of your future. I know it's tough sometimes. Life throws curveballs, distractions pop up, and it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. But if you stay consistent, if you keep putting in the work, the results will eventually come. It's not about how fast you move. It's about how steady you are. The key to success is showing up every single day, doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, even when things aren't going your way, even when you're tired, discouraged, or frustrated. That's when consistency matters the most. You might be thinking, but I've been working hard for a while, and nothing's changing. And I get it. It's frustrating. But trust me when I say this, the work you're doing is paying off. It might not be obvious right now, but you're laying the groundwork for success. Every time you stay consistent, every time you push through the tough days, you're building momentum, and momentum is everything. Once you build it, it's a force that can carry you through even the toughest times. Let me ask you this. What would happen if you committed to consistency for a year? Think about it. What if for just 1 year, you showed up every single day, no matter what? What if you worked on your goals, no matter how small the step, every single day? At the end of the year, you'd be amazed at how far you've come. And that's the power of consistency. It's not about perfection. It's about showing up, day after day, and doing the work. I want you to remember this. Success doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time, through consistent effort. The people you admire, the ones you look at and think, how did they do it? They didn't get there by chance. They didn't get there by taking one big leap. They got there by doing the small things, day in and day out. It's like planting a seed. You don't plant the seed and expect it to grow overnight. You water it, you give it sunlight, and you nurture it. It might not seem like much at first, but over time that seed will sprout and grow into something beautiful. The same is true for your goals. The work you put in today may feel small, but it's laying the groundwork for something amazing. You have to trust the process. You have to trust that every small action, Every day that you show up and do the work is getting you closer to your goal. I know it's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results, but let me tell you, those results are coming. You just have to keep going, keep showing up, keep putting in the effort. Don't let a few tough days stop you. Don't let the lack of instant success make you question whether it's worth it, because I promise you it is. Every day you show up, you're building something that's going to pay off in ways you can't even imagine right now. Consistency is the secret to success. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and trusting that those small steps are adding up. The results will come. The progress will show, but it's going to take time, and that's okay, because you're on the right path. You're doing the work. You're building something great. Number 9, surround yourself with hardworking people. I want to talk to you about something that's going to change the way you approach your goals, your dreams, and even your day-to-day life. It's about the people you surround yourself with. The people you let into your life have a massive impact on where you end up. You've heard that saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? Well, there's a lot of truth in that. The people around you influence your mindset, your work ethic, your energy, and even your beliefs about what's possible for you. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if you're surrounding yourself with people who are constantly negative, who don't believe in hard work, or who are content with mediocrity, it's going to be a lot harder to push forward. You're going to feel the weight of their mindset dragging you down, even if you don't realize it. But when you surround yourself with people who push you, who motivate you, who challenge you to be better every day, that's when the magic happens. That's when things start to click. Think about the people you hang out with the most. Do they lift you up or bring you down? Do they encourage you to go after your dreams? Or do they tell you it's too hard, too risky, or that it's not possible? Your circle is everything. If you're serious about getting better, about achieving more, about building the life you really want, you have to choose your people wisely. It's not just about having fun or finding people to spend time with. It's about surrounding yourself with individuals who are going to help you become the best version of yourself. When I say surround yourself with hardworking people, I'm not just talking about people who work hard in the traditional sense, people who work long hours. I'm talking about people who have a mindset of growth, people who are always looking to improve themselves, people who understand that the work you put in today is what shapes tomorrow. These are the people who are focused, disciplined, and dedicated to their own success. When you spend time with people like this, you start to adopt their habits, their mindset, their drive. You start thinking bigger, working harder, and pushing yourself further. It's not about being around people who have it all figured out. It's about being around people who are trying, people who are willing to put in the effort, who are willing to fail and learn and try again. These are the kinds of people who inspire you. These are the people you want in your life. Now, I know it's not always easy to find these kinds of people. It might feel like your circle is small, or maybe the people around you aren't as driven or motivated as you'd like them to be. But I promise you, there are people out there who will challenge you, who will support you, and who will help you grow. You have to be willing to look for them, to put yourself in the right places, and to invest time in relationships that bring out the best in you. You know, the journey to success is tough. There are days when you feel like giving up, days when you wonder if it's all worth it, days when it seems like everyone else is moving faster, achieving more. On those days, you need people around you who can lift you up, remind you why you started, and keep you going. You need people who will believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. Because let me tell you, there are going to be times when you doubt yourself, when you question if you have what it takes. And that's when the right people really make a difference. But here's the catch. It's not just about being around hardworking people. It's also about being a hardworking person yourself. You have to show up. You have to put in the work. And you have to be the kind of person who lifts others up too. It's a two-way street. You can't expect to have a powerful, motivating, growth-driven circle if you're not doing the same for others. You have to give as much as you take. You have to show up for your friends, your family, your colleagues. You have to be the person who brings energy and enthusiasm, who pushes others to be better, who challenges them to step outside their comfort zones. I know it can be hard to let go of relationships that don't serve you, relationships that drag you down or make you feel small. But here's the truth. Your growth depends on it. If you want to go to the next level, if you want to achieve your goals, you have to surround yourself with people who are on the same path, who have the same mindset, and who are going to help you push through the tough days. You can't afford to let negativity, laziness, or complacency hold you back. I'm not saying you need to cut everyone out of your life, but you do need to be intentional about the people you give your time to. The people you surround yourself with should be people who inspire you, people who make you want to be better, people who challenge you to go beyond your limits. It's about finding people who will help you get where you want to go. It's about creating a circle of people who are all pushing each other to do more, be more, and achieve more. And let me tell you, it works. When you surround yourself with people who are doing the work, who are striving for more, who are committed to their own success, you start to see the results. You begin to think differently. You begin to see new opportunities. You begin to realize that you too can achieve big things. It's all about the energy you put out and the energy you take in. So what can you do today? Start by evaluating the people in your life. Are they the kind of people who push you to be better, to work harder, to believe in your potential? If not, maybe it's time to make some changes. Maybe it's time to seek out those who inspire you, who motivate you, and who challenge you to go beyond what you thought was possible. You can start by finding people who are already on the journey you want to be on. Join communities, seek mentors, or even just reach out to others who share your vision. The more you surround yourself with hardworking, driven, and motivated people, the more you'll see your own growth. And remember, it's not just about getting support, it's also about offering support to others. Become the kind of person who inspires and pushes others forward, and you'll build a circle that elevates everyone involved. That's how you create the life you want. The kind of life where success isn't just a dream, it's a reality. Number 10. Make hard work a habit, not a burden. I want to talk to you about something that can completely change your relationship with success, with work, and with your future. I want to talk about making hard work a habit, not a burden. I know the word hard work can sound heavy. It can feel like a chore, like something we dread, but it doesn't have to be that way. Hard work doesn't have to feel like a weight that drags you down. It can be something you embrace, something you do without thinking twice, something that becomes second nature. And when that happens, that's when you start seeing real results. Here's the thing. Hard work doesn't have to feel like a punishment, but we often get it in our minds that it does. We get stuck in this mindset that we're doing it because we have to, and that can make it exhausting. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that work is something to avoid, something that's in the way of fun or relaxation. But the reality is, the more you embrace hard work as a habit, the more it becomes part of who you are, and the less it feels like a burden. I want to challenge you to shift that mindset. I want you to see work as a tool, not something that just stands in your way. When you look at hard work as something that helps you grow, something that takes you one step closer to your goals, something that builds your future, it starts to feel different. It becomes less about the grind and more about progress. And when progress is your focus, it doesn't matter how hard you work, it's all part of the journey. I know this might sound easier said than done, but it's all about perspective. The people who truly succeed, the people who are able to accomplish extraordinary things, aren't always the ones who are the most talented. They're the ones who have built the habit of showing up and putting in the work, day after day, no matter what. They don't see hard work as something that stops them from having fun. They see it as a way to create the life they want. They know that every bit of effort, no matter how small, is taking them closer to their dreams. And you can do the same. It's about consistency, not perfection. You don't have to get everything right all the time, but you do need to keep moving forward. The moment you stop putting in the work, you stop moving closer to your goals. But when hard work becomes a habit, when you're used to showing up and doing what needs to be done, that's when you build momentum. And momentum, as you know, is a powerful thing. Once you get it, it's hard to stop. The thing about habits is that they start small. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. You just need to start. Start by taking small actions that lead to bigger things. The more you do something, the easier it becomes. The more you show up, the more natural it feels. Over time, what once felt like a huge effort will become just part of your routine. You'll start to see that putting in the work is no longer something you have to force yourself to do. It's something you do because it's what gets you closer to what you want. There's no secret to success. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about building the habit of hard work, day in and day out. It's about knowing that the more you put in, the more you'll get out. And when you start to see the results, when you start to feel the impact of all the effort you've put in, that's when it all clicks. That's when hard work becomes more than just a habit. it becomes part of who you are. It becomes the key to everything you want. So let me ask you something. How often do you allow yourself to just take a break? How often do you allow yourself to relax and recharge? It's important to find balance in life, but it's also important to understand that success doesn't come from sitting back and waiting for things to happen. It comes from putting in the effort every single day. It's the days when you don't feel like doing the work that matter the most. It's on those days that your commitment to hard work will pay off, because that's when you prove to yourself that you're willing to push through, that you're willing to do what it takes, even when it's tough. Now, this isn't to say that hard work should feel like a constant struggle. Far from it. In fact, when hard work becomes a habit, it should start to feel easier. It shouldn't feel like a burden. It should feel like a path that you're walking down every day, one step at a time. You won't always feel motivated, but that's okay. Motivation comes and goes, but habits stick. And the more you make hard work a part of your daily routine, the more natural it becomes to push through, to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. And here's something important to remember. Your results will follow. It's not about taking giant leaps every day. It's about showing up and putting in the effort, no matter how small. Those small efforts add up over time. When you're consistent, when you make hard work a habit, that's when you start seeing the results you've been working for. It might take time, and it might not always be easy, but I promise you, it's worth it. I know that it's easy to get distracted by the shiny objects out there. It's easy to get caught up in the quick fixes and the shortcuts that people talk about. But those things don't lead to lasting success. The only way to build something real, something solid, is through consistent hard work. It's the daily grind, the small actions taken over time, that lead to big changes. So don't let the promise of shortcuts trick you. Focus on the work, make it a habit, and watch how your life starts to change.